Hi everyone, Stepan here. I'm here at the Croatian Cup finals. Round 2 is just about to start. I'm not playing, I'm the substitution, and the guys are playing round 2. In round 1 we faced a weaker team. Well, once you compare the rating of our 4 players who play without me. On board 1, our international master Leon Livajic faced a FIDE master. On boards 2 and 3, we had a FIDE master and an international master facing 2000 players. And on board 4, I faced a 2000 player myself. Well, yeah, you could say we were expected to win, and we did win. However, I played a game which was very complicated, and I would like to probably the first time to ask you to calculate out the variation, which was critical. Once I point out the move, you should pause and use as much time as you need, because it's, I think, very instructive regarding endgame calculation and pawn endgames. It was a very complicated endgame. Right now, in round 2, they are facing a team with 4 grandmasters, so it's going to be fun. So after I record, I'm going to watch them play, and I hope they can do something. Our team is 1 FIDE master, 3 international masters, and me. So okay, in the game I faced Krklec Josip. He's 2000 and something rated. I expected to play him because it's a Swiss tournament, so I calculated out who we are going to face in the first round. And I spent most of my time preparing for the black pieces. He usually plays the exchange Slav, so I prepared for a week for that. And I figured if I have white, I'm going to play the closed Sicilian, since he plays the Sicilian. And I did. So e4, c5, I played knight to c3. Now the most common move is knight c6. He played g6 though. And now I can play normal systems with knight to f3, transposing into the accelerated dragon or something similar after knight f3 and d4. But I decided to play it riskier and to play a Grand Prix setup with f4, bishop g7, knight to f3, knight c6, bishop b5. The main idea is to exchange this bishop for the knight. If he plays knight to d4 here, I can just castle, and then if he takes, I'm happy because I will have my knight on b5, which isn't really a liability. He played d6 though. Now the knight is pinned, and I'm certain that I'm going to exchange, castle, bishop to d7, d3, and e6. And now, as you can see, white is somewhat ahead in development. Black spent a lot of time moving pawns, c5, d6, e6, and g6. And yeah, white should be slightly better. For human play, according to the engines, it's equal. And I've spent a lot of time looking at these positions and trying to make the move f5 work. And here I spent a long time trying to make it work. But in the end, I didn't have enough courage to play it. I should have played it. So after f5 here, he has 3 moves basically. Knight f6, e takes, and g takes. After e takes f5, e takes f5, white should be simply winning because of the e file. I think the best move should be king to f8. It's really complex to play, regardless of the pawn sacrifice. It's completely irrelevant. I have a lot of pressure on his position. I have knight d5, I have knight to g5, I have rook e1, I have queen e2. I have a lot of pressure on his position. After f5, g takes f5, e takes f5 once again. I should be better because the black king doesn't have a square to castle to. Once again, e takes f would be a mistake because the e file would open, so now I'm not even sacrificing a pawn. And if I manage to take fe, then I'm opening up 2 key files towards his king, and he's going to be in trouble. And after f5, knight to f6, I can simply play bishop f4, putting pressure on d6, and after e5, bishop g5, castles, knight d5. This is just winning for white. I think there's no way for him to defend this position because all of my pieces are much better than his pieces, and his king is basically in trouble. In fact, if I turned on the engine now, yeah, you can see the evaluation bar on the right side. Or on the board, it's more than +2. But during the game, for some reason, I decided not to play f5. I don't know why. I should have just played it. I decided to play it simpler with bishop to d2 and just wait. And after he played knight g to e7, I figured that I can no longer play f5, so I was pretty upset. And now I'm faced with several difficulties in the position. My b2 pawn is hanging. In many positions, after a move such as queen to b6, he is threatening to take my knight and then take the bishop once he castles, and he is also threatening the move c5 with check, trying to disrupt my pawn center. So I went for the move rook to b1, which I know for a fact is a dubious move in these positions, but it's really hard for black to punish this waste of tempo, and all of a sudden everything is defended. He castled, and now I went for the most common plan in these lines, knight to e2. Another reason why I played rook to b1, so that now with queen b6 I can simply move my bishop. And everything is defended, and I'm also reinforcing the most critical square in the position, the d4 square, which all the battle is going to revolve around. Here he surprised me with the move e5, which I think is a bad move. And now I thought I have to be better. After e5, of course, I take it, f takes e5, knight takes e5, giving me a chance to exchange my bishop for his bishop, which is great. Bishop takes d7, queen takes d7, and now knight takes e5. If he takes with the bishop, I'm playing bishop c3. He took with the pawn, and now yeah, I was happy because I thought I had a slight edge in the position, and my plan was as follows: bishop e3, c4, and knight c3, knight d5. The only problem is that the d3 pawn is not defended, so I'm going to have to play queen d2 first. But I figured that after bishop e3, queen d2, I'm also threatening bishop h6, exchanging his main defender, so I did play that. So bishop e3. Rook c8 is the best move. Now he's threatening c5. I didn't want to allow that, so I played b3, which perhaps was a waste of tempo, but who knows. I think that after queen to d2 here, c5 would be pretty strong, because c4, I'm sorry, because I no longer have c4. So I played b3. He played f5, which I expected. E takes f5, knight takes f5, and now Mate, my coach, pointed out that I should have played queen to d2. I didn't really see the reason to do that, to give up my bishop. I liked my bishop, and this diagonal can be extremely weak. So I played bishop to f2, which I think was fine. And now the reason why bishop f2 was a slightly bad move because is bishop h6, which I missed. I completely missed that move, that I'm going to have trouble on the e3 square. So bishop h6, knight to g3. I can also try knight to c3. I basically have to stop his ideas around the e3 square and get my knight into e4. If I manage to get my knight to e4, I'm going to be fine. So now I played knight to g3 so that if he plays bishop to e3, I can take the knight. And if I play knight to c3 and he plays bishop to e3, I cannot take the knight. And I was looking at variations like this. Takes, let's say rook takes, knight somewhere here, and well, I think I would be fine, but I figured I should exchange the knights rather than allow all of this. And now he has to take my knight, I think. If he now goes for the same variation, once my knight gets into e4, then it's going to be the best piece on the board, much better than any of the rooks. So he took, I took, and now he went for the exchange of absolutely everything on the board, which I wasn't really happy to see. So queen d4 check, king h1, bishop f4, and now just a bunch of exchanges, takes. Okay, now we have a rook endgame in which the position should be equal if both sides play correctly. And I think we have played correctly. King f5, rook e1. I need to get my rook into e4. Rook d8, rook e4. I have to play rook e4 because if he plays rook d4, then I'm going to be worse. And now we get to this critical position where if he ever takes my rook, I need to capture with the d-pawn. And now I need to look at the squares which are critical. So one of the critical squares is the g5 square. So I had to play the move h4, which I played immediately, so that if he takes, after check, his king cannot go to g5. Because if his king goes to g5, he has the opposition. So now if he takes, I take with check, his king goes back, I move here. And I figured that had to be okay. b5, a3, h6, rook g4. I'm just repeating moves now. If he takes here, then it's even better for me. a5, rook e4, b4, and now, yeah, now I think he had a chance to win. Here I messed up with a4. The thing is that in this position, I probably have to take the pawn. I'm not sure though, Because now after a4, I was looking now at the move rook takes e4, d takes e4, and after king f6, king g4, h5 check, he's winning because of king g3, g5, and I cannot defend this position. King takes g5, this is just losing. I'm losing immediately now. So at this point I was lost, but I wasn't actually sure what I should play. I'm going to check it out with the engine afterwards. I have actually analyzed the game with several people and with an engine at some points after the game I played last night, because I was really well, it was a tough game. So anyway, I have to see what I should have played here. But a4, he played h5, and now I'm fine. I can move my rook away, it's not a big deal. Rook e2, king e6, and now we get to almost to the critical point. Now I saw what he wanted to do. I was way ahead on time. He had about 3 minutes left, and this is game in 90 with 30 seconds per move and 30 seconds after move 40, and this is move 34. So if he survives for another 6 moves, he's going to get half an hour. And I figured I need to play something tricky now. So I saw what he wanted to do. He wants to play king d5 and enter my position via d4. So I played rook to e4, king to d5, and now what I thought was a very good move, king f2. King f2 might seem bad because his king can obviously enter my position, so the variation goes king f2, and if he takes on e4, d takes e4, king to d4. And I would like you to pause now and find my idea and find what I wanted to do. The basic idea, and you can calculate that afterwards, is king f2, rook takes e4, d takes e4, king to d4, king to e2, king to c3, and then the move f4. Because I have my pawns on e4 and f3, once I push through with f4, my e4 pawn is going to become a queen. If he does nothing, then I'm going to push through f5, sacrificing my pawn, and if he takes, then my f pawn is becoming a queen. So the idea was to lure his king away towards the queen side and play f4. Okay, if you want to pause now, you can pause now. You can pause a few more moves later as well. So I did play king f2. He took on e4, which surprised me. Now this is 4 moves until the time control. He had about 2 minutes left. D takes e4 check, king to d4, king to e2, king to c3. This is now the absolutely critical position in the game, and very hard to calculate. You should now definitely pause and calculate 2 moves. One of them is f4 immediately, and what happens after f4. Look at all of black's options. And the other one is simply king to d1, because after king to d1 he cannot take my c2 pawn, that much is clear, and I'm still threatening f4. So yeah, you need to calculate all of the options. If you want to pause the video now. Okay, so in the game I had about 20 minutes left at this point, and I was about to get another half an hour, so I had enough time left. Good time management for once. And I missed one of black's options. Now the variation which I was really excited about, and by the way I was certain I was winning at this point, is f4 king c2, f takes e king b3, e6, and that's winning for white because white is several tempi up. However, I missed one option, so the variation goes like this: f4, king takes e2, okay, f takes e5, and if he takes on b3, then this just doesn't make any sense for black, and yeah, I'm going to win this position easily. Okay, because as you can see, I'm just going to take the pawn and march my other pawn up the board. However, after king takes c2, f takes e5, and by the way, you have to calculate all the variations. You need to calculate f5 as well. What happens on f5, because sometimes in pawn endgames it's critical which square you queen on. I took on e5, and I missed the move c4. After the move c4 it gets much trickier, because it's obvious that we are going to queen on the same move. It's just the question who is going to queen first, and here I spent a lot of time. In one variation I win a pawn, in the other variation I queen first, so what's better? So it's obvious that if I push e6, then he takes. We are queening on the same move, but I'm queening first. And if I take here, if I take on c4, then he is queening first, but we are queening on the same move and I am a pawn up. In the other variation I am a pawn down. So after b takes c4, this variation would be simply winning for me, because there's nothing he can do with his queen. If he ever decides to take my c4 pawn, then he's busted after king to g5, and I'm just going to win everything and win. Okay, so this variation is winning. However, after f takes c5, c4, I decided that queening first was better, and I played e6. After e6, c takes b3, e7, b2, e8, queen, b1, queen, queen to d7 is the move I saw, which made me really happy. Now, if he plays the move b3, then it's checkmate in one move. b3, checkmate. However, after queen to d7, he doesn't have to play b3. And as you can see, he's 3 moves away from queening. I'm 4 moves away from queening, and I'm basically losing the game now. King b3 was played, and now I need to save the position somehow. I'm losing my e4 pawn, I cannot allow that. If I push e5, he's going to play queen e4 check. So king e3. And now he messed around with my king for a long while, and basically improved his position up to a point where it was completely winning. He won my h4 pawn in a couple of moves, and then he was simply 2 pawns up. We queened at the same time, and in fact I can show you the rest of the game after king to f3. Wait, which king f3 is this? Okay, queen to f1 check. I really cannot remember all of this because it's really complicated. King f3, king e3, queen g1 check, king f3, queen h1 check, king e3, queen e1 check, king f4, queen h4 check, winning my pawn now, king f3. I basically need to stay away from the e4 square, because if I ever put my king on e4, then he is queening with check, and I have no chance. So okay, queen h1, king e3, I cannot go to e4, queen g1 check, king f3, and he did play patiently. Now he played b3 and I played e6. Now he played queen g4 check, waiting for this opportunity. King e3, queen h3 check, king d2, queen g2 check, and this is sad. I should have resigned, which is obvious, but I didn't. Now he played b2 here, and still he didn't queen g3 check, improving his position, king d4. I think he could have queened a long time ago, king c5, queen b4 check. Yes, this was the final blunder, king d5, and now we both queen. So there you have it, 6 queens on the board in total, and this is of course easily winning. He can simply exchange all the queens. Queen d3 check is just winning. I resigned here, I think, but yeah, queen d3 obviously just whichever way I take. If I take with the king, queen a4 winning, exchanging the queens, and if I take with the queen, then queen g5, queen g4 exchanging the queens, and he's 3 or 2 pawns up, easily winning. So let's just check out the critical points with the engine. Okay, d3, e6, and now yeah, f5. I should have played f5. So let's see, after f5, his best move is knight f6, and yeah, bishop f4 was okay, e5 was okay, and bishop g5. Yeah, for some reason I didn't go for this. Okay. But yeah, let's b3, f5, ef5, knight f5, bishop f2. Yeah, bishop f2 was the correct move, not queen to d2. Bishop f2, bishop h6 I missed, knight g3, and now a lot of exchanges. Yeah. Yeah, this ending should be, just let me look at the point where I played a4. I need to look at that position. b4. Now the engine says a takes b isn't losing. a4 is losing, the variation I just showed you with rook takes c4, d takes c4, king f6, king g4, h5 check. Yeah, this is busted. However, after b4 takes, why doesn't the same variation work? Let's say he takes here. Oh yeah, because it's white to move again. Okay. Stupid me, it's white to move. So yeah, basically needed to give him a move so that he doesn't have time to take my rook. But after a4, I gave him time, h5, once again saving me because I get to pull my rook back. And now let's look at the chaos. Rook e4, king d5, king f2. The engine says he should go back, but he took. D takes e4, king to e2, king to c3. Now the engine likes f4, but obviously with b takes c4. Okay, f4, king takes c2, f takes c5, c4. Yeah. If I take bc, it's equal, but I'm guessing I should be winning this somehow. It's basically a draw if he keeps on checking me. Yeah, once he takes the pawn, it's losing. But if he keeps checking me, it's a draw. And after f takes c4, c4, e6 is busted immediately. Well, what can you do? I mean, it was a very tough game. Out of the 29 teams, which means, what's that, 14, 15 matches, 4 boards each. We were the last board playing, so out of 60 boards, we were the last board playing, and it took about 5.5 hours. A really long game. Very instructive. I think that I misplayed the opening because I didn't find f5, and I definitely misplayed the endgame because I played e6 instead of b takes c4. Let me know how you did with your calculation in the comments if you try to calculate this ending, and let me know if you find it interesting. I'm now going to look at my teammates playing that strong team that they're facing in round 2, and this afternoon I should be playing in round 3, so cross your fingers. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more chess, and bye bye. Cheers from Loshin.